Okay, deep breath, guys. I had put this together last week. I filmed for a good 40 minutes a beautiful video of these three bunnies coming together, and I went to go pick up my phone and realized that it hadn't recorded for about 20 minutes, and not only had it not recorded, it didn't save. So it forced me to pivot, and I'm sorry for not having this really in a reasonable amount of time before Easter, but it did force me to think differently about my plan, and I've decided, instead of doing three bunnies together, to put three sweet little bunnies on separate designs that people can print and have the kids work on for Good Friday because our kids aren't in school, yay! Or you could just throw some around the Easter table outside and have some kids pick at it on Easter Sunday. So I hope that you guys find an opportunity to incorporate these into your Easter plans this weekend. And if not, just paint some spring bunnies on a rim when you have a free time. I will have this full tutorial and links and also downloadable worksheets that you can print and use from home on my website shortly. Check the link in my bio to grab that. But for now, three cute little bunnies. I think that I'm going to actually get started with this one. And I've been wanting to do a horizontal line bunny. Again, it's kind of, I feel like sometimes things happen the way that they are supposed to happen. So I'm going to get started with my medium, let's see, I think I'll go sort of a size 6 brush. This little guy right here, it's got a nice point and it's about medium sized. And here's the palette that I'm working with. I have these palettes and kits coming soon to my website, so you'll be able to shop these from me directly. Or I also have them linked on Amazon too, if you just want to go that route. But today I'm going to use sort of my medium navy blue. And I'm going to get my brush nice and wet, dunk it in my paint, and start going to town. Now this is a 3D shape, so I'm going to start with the bottom and work my way up, which ordinarily I don't do. But I find that the bottom is the easiest way to sort of judge the shape of something. And notice how I'm kind of following the curvature of this bunny. And anytime it comes to a point where there's a crease, a toe, a bend in the leg, I'm just going to pick up my paintbrush so that you can tell that that's a broken line. It's a 3D shape. So here we go, paint that there. Doop, doop. And this little tail, there would be a bump there too. So gonna kind of go nice and round, and then I feel like you wouldn't be able to see all of the line over this leg, so I'll make your thinner line and then a little thicker as it gets to the feet. And it really doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if it's not perfect. Looks like it's homemade, handmade with love. If you've seen my videos before, I have mentioned that the more paint you put on your paintbrush, the darker your lines will be. And the more water you put, the lighter they'll be. So I kind of have a good medium line here. And if you're commenting, I really appreciate it. I actually can't see it because I am underneath my phone right now. So send me a message if you have any questions or if there's anything that's goofy or seems off. mask the leg. If your brain is having a hard time computing how it's going to look when I do this head, I suggest actually fast forwarding, and you can either take a screenshot and come back to it, or just to kind of give yourself a way of processing how to work this out. Feel free to skip ahead and then come back. There's sort of a little crease at the neck. Little bump on the ear. And since the inside of the ear is a little bit curved, I'm going to change my pattern a little bit. So here it kind of goes up a little bit. And then there's a bump for the ear, what do you call that? Ear lobe? Cartilage? And then goes through here like this. Last line up there. This guy's got just a couple more on this ear. Up a little higher. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more paint to this line down here because I feel like it got kind of, a couple of them got a little bit light. These got a little dark. So I'm gonna take my dry brush and kind of go through, pick it up and add it to some of the other lines. There we go. And then for the eye, you can do the eye how you see fit. I'm just gonna take paint and trace the top of it, and then do a little swoop. There we go. All right, so I've got my horizontal bunny line. We're gonna set this aside and let them dry. See how we feel. For beginning artists, you could do solid colors, you could do hearts, all sorts of cute little ideas, whatever floats your boat. I highly recommend going to Pinterest. I'll have a Pinterest board too, where you can see some of my favorite ceramic bunnies, other bunny designs, bunny paintings, bunny artwork. But feel free to check my Pinterest board and see if there's anything that inspires you. Now, this is one of my favorite patterns that I had done last year on some of my my ceramic bunnies. I do a little tulip pattern. So I'm going to start with, actually, I don't think I'm going to use olive. I think I'm going to use bright green. Always test out the greens that you're going to use on scratch paper first to determine whether or not you like the colors that you're going to be using. I'm going to go with this one over here. This is a little bit more of a grass green. If you're using my palette, it's the one directly above the grays. And it's kind of almost like, yeah, like a grassy lime green. Now, what I'm going to start by doing is the leaves. So I draw a little stick and then almost like a little V. And I'm just going to paint these sort of randomly all throughout. stick and V. We'll put one kind of coming out of the bottom here. One sort of right here. And anywhere I feel like there's what we call negative space, or there's a big blank patch, I'm just going to add a little flower. I guess that they also kind of look like arrows, don't they? If you hear my dog snoring, you'll have to excuse him. It's allergy season. Okay, I feel like that has maybe one more right here. That just about covers it for the leaves. So I'm going to clean off my brush. And tulips can really be any color you want them to be. I'm going to go with a mix of, let's see, since I did a blue bunny first, I think I'm going to do a mix of red and yellow. I also really like pink. Pink was my go-to last year. Let's see, the red that I'm going to use is this one. That's right next to the purples. And to do the tulip, we want to make sure, of course, that these are dry. So I'm going to start from the very bottom. And with the tulip, I do sort of a U shape. And then I draw an A in the middle, or a triangle point in the middle. And then I kind of smoosh them together a little bit. And I just kind of want to have the red ones be random again. So random red tulips. Want to make sure that I allow plenty of room to get the yellow ones in. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just check and make sure. Oh, good. Still recording. It's always nice when that happens, huh? Okay. All right, let's see. Perfect. Feeling pretty good about this. Gonna go ahead and clean off my brush once more. And we're gonna move on to our little yellow ones. And the yellow that I think I'm gonna do is this middle one right here. This sort of bright yellow. Notice how, again, I'm taking extra good care of my brush. I'm just bringing the paint up from the side at like a 45-degree angle. I never smash my paintbrush into the palette because that's what ruins the bristles and makes them all fuzzy. I'm gonna do the same now and just kind of fill in the ones that I hadn't painted red yet. Oh, he's looking so cute. And then here I'm gonna paint just a couple of dots. It looks like there's a flower. All right, chipper little guy. I do want to accentuate the eye, but I don't want to do it in red or yellow. So I think we're gonna go green now that I think about it. That would be perhaps the most appealing option. So again, just kind of tracing the eye. There we go. All right, this happy little guy. So far we're looking good. We've got our little tulip guy. And here's our lined one. Looking real cute. And this last one, I think I'm going to do, let's see. I'll put these, let me organize these so you can keep watching, keep looking at them while we're watching. Put those up here. Here we go. Okay, this one is going to go in my powder room, so I want him to be nice and pink and pastel. And I'm gonna go with the hydrangea pattern that I've done in a bunch of my other stuff. I'm gonna use this pink here. Feel free to use, again, whichever color you want. Hydrangeas can be really any color. You could do white, blue, green, pink. And for this, I'm just going to paint, I like to think of my hydrangeas as being T's and X's. So this is an X-shaped one. I'm just going to paint the little petals in an X shape, leaving the space in the middle. And then the next one is going to be a T. We just kind of want them to be evenly spaced and a little bit random so that you fill in all the white space. This piece here is a little too dark, so I'm going to pick it up with my dry brush. Cactus. And I've painted this design 100 times. So if you're having a hard time, again, processing how to work this out in your mind, a good step is always to fast forward to the end and see if seeing the finished piece kind of helps you work through it. All right, looks like pink is all set. Now that that's done, I'm going to go in and add another little dot for leaves. I'm going to use the same green that I used for my tulips. And I'm not going to do it on all of them, but just a few little pops of green really kind of add some extra cheer. Makes it look a little bit more organic. I think I might also do this eyeball in green. There you go, so it pops. Perfect. This one got a little dark, so I'm gonna dry my brush, pick up some of that paint, lighten it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, now I am going to go through and add a little darker pink dot to the middle of all of these flowers now that this is dry for the most part. I'm just going to use a lot of paint and a little bit of water and make one tiny little dot, boop, on each of these. And this is the same shade of pink that I used for my petals. All right, I think I got them all. Well, thank you for hanging out with me for a couple minutes here. I hope that you find a perfect spot to put these and a place to incorporate them into your spring. These are, of course, wonderful for Easter, but I like having bunnies out all year, or not all year, all summer long, because I just feel like they're so cheery and happy and cute. Oh, look at them. So fun. All right, everybody, have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.